not hooked up. He doesn't know if he's hooked up. Can somebody help? Perfect. Thank you. He's going to give you a hook. Do you want to use your thing, Paul? Go ahead.
I have aspired and labored and achieved. My heart is filled with joy, for I said, God, give me hill to climb and strength to climb them. My prayer was granted. You have given me so much. You have given me the strength or will to achieve. Give me one thing more, O God, a grateful heart, and give me a wise and constant spirit, one aware of my debt to others for what I have achieved. You are the strength of my hands, O God, and the light of my life. All that I am and all that I may yet be, I owe to the creative power that you have implanted with me. Even I exult in the success of my labors, so may I glory to be kind in thought, gentle in work, and generous in deed, that others may have cause to rejoice in my accomplishments. Give me a grateful heart and a loving disposition, that I may be your messenger for blessing for the poor, the helpless, and the sick. Thus would I give thanks for the blessings that have come to me.
Give me a second to figure out if I can get this thing working. It's not looking good. All right, I hope everybody can hear me. Wonderful. I've been told I have a loud voice. Welcome, Merkaz families, faculty, rabbis, and graduates. I am Karen Sanger. I am president of the Merkaz Board of Directors. Welcome to our hybrid version of Graduation 2020. We are so pleased to be able to celebrate our graduates in person. I want to acknowledge up front that many people had to come together to make this event happen today. First, a reminder that our ability to hold graduation out here is contingent on social distancing rules. Grads, I know your inclination is to hug your friends. Please don't. Hug your moms and dads. And stay by your cars. Keep your distance from other families. It feels very strange to say these words, but these are some strange times indeed. I am so proud how Merkaz switched to the virtual classroom-style learning back in March with the onset of COVID-19, and the number of our participating students stayed high throughout the whole semester. Let me also highlight our mobile mitzvot project, which was born out of our Better Together program, which has garnered not just local, but national and international recognition. Our students have paraded in their cars around the JSS a number of times. They've delivered flowers, reading materials to the residents. They've sponsored 2 staff appreciation days. They've produced a hugely successful musical mashup video, which runs on the in-house channel at the JSS, and ran a successful food drive to support Jewish family services. And I understand they're not done. More activities are being planned for the summer, so keep an eye and ear out. Going forward, none of us know what the future will hold, at least in the short term, but you can all be sure that Merkaz will be here, engaging and educating our Jewish teens. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is David Weisberg. I'm here on behalf of the Federation for Jewish Philanthropy of Upper Fairfield County. I've come to several of these Merkaz graduations, and obviously this year is a little bit different. But in so many ways, this year was exactly the same. We expect that every year Merkaz is going to have an incredible faculty, and this year it did. We expect that every year Merkaz is going to have interesting, intriguing classes, and this year it did. In fact, so much so that an adult institute at the same time attracted participation from around the community. And we expect that Merkaz every year is going to develop outstanding young leaders in our community. And we understand that it did, but we understand that most years in the abstract, in a non-tangible way. What made this year different, and what we would have never expected, is that the students of Merkaz would start leading us already. And that's the incredible thing that happened this year. It would have been so easy when everyone had to isolate indoors for Merkaz to say, okay, we're going to do some virtual classes online, but we can take an early vacation. We can sit back and take it easy. But amazingly, Merkaz did just the opposite. At a time that they could have done less, the students of Merkaz did more, leading our community in providing support for Jewish senior services, in doing food drives for Jewish family services, in being the role models for the adults and for all of us in our community to say these are the mitzvot that we can be doing when times are difficult. So on behalf of the Federation, I want to say that not only does Merkaz continue to be the pride and joy of our community, and these graduating students continue to be the pride and joy of our community, but this year, this season, you've truly stepped forward to be our leaders. And so I want to offer my mazel tov, my congratulations to Shelley and Marjorie, to the board, to the faculty, to the parents, and most importantly to the students, and say not only mazel tov, but thank you for leading us.
Good afternoon. I have to tell you that Marjorie and I have been so busy planning for this event to happen that I hardly can believe that we're sitting here and that the sun is shining and everything has worked out. So thank you all for cooperating. I had an interesting thought, and I'm going to tell you that I titled this address to you guys, Bookends. And you're probably thinking to yourself, Mrs. Krieger, you are crazy sometimes. Why bookends? So I'm going to do a few thank yous and then I'm going to explain that to you. Everybody hear me okay? I spent a lot of years as an elementary school principal. Recess was my favorite part of the day. Good afternoon. After much hard work and the cooperation and flexibility of so many people, we need to give a shout out to thank them for helping make this in-person drive-in graduation happen today. So our first thank yous go to the Fairfield Health Department, the Fairfield Police Department and Captain Liddy. Thanks Josh Zabin for helping out with that too. And thanks to First Select Person Brenda Kupchik. And next our thanks go to Congregation Bethel and Rabbi Kormis and his relationship with the town of Fairfield. Steve Rabifker, Lisa Wolfeiler, and their president Liz Krebs. And our next thank you goes to Heidi Gazelle for making this place look festive. Thanks to the Federation for their moral and financial support. And last but not least, to the Merkaz board and the graduation committee. Now, why would so many people jump through so many hoops just to give you, our students, and our families an in-person graduation, albeit with some restrictions and some differences? You're a special group of students. The bookends of your lives are some of the most trying times in American history. You were born in the shadows of September 11th and into an America that had been attacked on her own soil, and one that entered into a Middle East war that is still going on today. You have lived your 18 years in a world where travel requires you to take off your shoes and go through intensive screenings, but you and your families adjusted. and you grew up in safe, loving homes that have provided you with rich experiences. It reminds me of a poignant story about the gifted violinist Yitzhak Perlman. He survived childhood polio, but was left physically challenged, in braces and on crutches. It takes great effort for him to get on a stage and get himself settled and ready to play. And as the story goes, at a particular concert, Perlman began to play along with the symphony when all of a sudden a string on his violin broke. You could hear the snap. Perlman stopped playing. He was quiet for a moment, clearly thinking. He then indicated to the conductor to begin again, and he played the remainder of the concert with one less string. He rewrote the music in his mind. Why? So he could make beautiful music with the strings that remained. That is just what your families, your parents, and you did after 9/11. And you were probably a little too little to remember. You created and recreated the music of your lives, and you made a wonderful symphony of it. You had rich educational experiences, both secular and Judaic. You have experienced sports, dance, theater, travel, camps, music, and so much more. You, like Perlman, have made beautiful music, and today is one of those experiences. This is not Merkaz's typical graduation, but the sun is shining, and we are all here for you, celebrating your achievements. So why did I entitle my remarks to you as bookends? I did so because at the end of your 18 years at home, in this community, your lives are again marked by a historic event, the COVID pandemic, and now serious social unrest. It's your turn to make beautiful music with what you have. How do you do that? You do it by exercising those Jewish values you have developed in the last 4 years at Merkaz and before that in your religious schools. You have learned about Jewish law and American law. You have learned about other faiths and our commonalities. You have learned so much about Tikkun Olam and repairing the world. You have made Jewish art and music. You have studied about Israel, and some of you have even learned how to cook. So now what? My challenge to you graduates is to apply what you have learned and make new music. Register to vote, and then vote, and never miss an election. Be informed, read, and not just things that support your own position. Challenge yourselves to understand the other side. Listen to the other. Look up from your phones and into the eyes of the other and see their pain and try to feel it. Don't distance yourself from reality. Immerse yourself in it. So to our graduates, our bookends, you are indeed special. Now it's your turn. This chapter will become a sweet memory and a story you will tell your children and your grandchildren. Start a new shelf for your new books. Put up one bookend to start to hold them up and begin filling that new shelf. Fill it with music, art, history, science, and current events. Fill it too with the words of Torah, Mishnah, and Midrash. Let those metaphorical books represent your new interests, your new friends, and your new experiences. Let those experiences lead you to new vaccines, new peace plans, new solutions to old problems. We are handing you a broken but beautiful violin. Make beautiful music.
be a Jew is to gaze, is to look.
Is it on?
Just below.
To be a Jew is to look, is to gaze.
It's to stand at the door to reality with open arms.
Afraid of what may be, but more afraid that it may not be, is to welcome the real and shun the false,
To be a Jew is to smile,
is to laugh,
is to drink in all the happiness of life until it seems like there is no more.
is to empty the cup of gladness, but not to get drunk on it.
Is to share our joy with the world.
To be a Jew is to cry,
Is to weep, is to shed tears when we or others suffer from the too real.
is to express our sorrow, but not wallow in self-pity,
To be a Jew is to reach,
is to stretch out,
is to tie the ends of the past and future to a stream of history.
is to live today, but not to live for today.
Is to be the bridge between Babylonia and the 21st century.
To be a Jew is to search.
It is to examine.
It is to know ourselves for what we are and for what we are not.
It is to always look in the mirror, but never to stare into it.
Is to change the world by first changing ourselves.
Merkaz just completed our 4th year of being a recipient of a grant from Better Together, a program of the Legacy Heritage Foundation. Over the 4 years, more than 50 students have participated in this program, 2 of them twice. With the culmination of the grant funding, we were fortunate to receive sponsorship by the Women's Auxiliary of the JSS. For those of you who don't know about Better Together, it's a program designed for young Jewish students to form relationships with Jewish seniors living in Jewish senior residences. We were very fortunate 4 years ago to pair up with the Jewish Senior Services. Each fall, our new crop of students who selected Better Together, taught by Margie Schulman, become sensitized to the conditions of the plague of the elderly. Once comfortable, we bring them to the JSS to meet and get to know some of the residents through all sorts of activities, including some programs which include the entire school. The programs in class run for both fall and spring semesters. 4 of our graduating students, Stephanie Ballas, Maddie Gassell, Anna Gold, and Samantha Richer, are now Better Together alumni. As you can imagine, after a great beginning in the fall with a very successful Lego menorah build in December and lots of fun with slime, the program came to a screeching halt mid-March. But with the ingenuity of the Better Together students, Anna Gold and Samantha Renzulli, the program morphed into the Merkaz Mobile Mitzvot, which has gained national recognition with ongoing programs to support both the staff and residents of the JSS and Hollander House. Anna Gold produced a mitzvah mashup, 35 Minutes of Delight, which has now been distributed to long-term care facilities across this country and Israel. The next video, to be released for Father's Day, June 21st, will feature your pets. So please send photos and clips to merkazmobilemitzvot@gmail.com. In addition, Better Together sponsors a yearly essay contest. Each cohort, of which Merkaz is one of more than 100, hold their own contest and select their own winner. We announced our winner at our Night of Stars event on May 19th, and it is Anna Gold. Anna, please stand. Anna has 4 years to complete her award, which is a 50% of an approved Jewish camper semester at an approved Jewish university. Her essay is in your virtual grad booklet. We're very proud of Anna and all our Better Together seniors have accomplished. So Anna will be receiving, when she comes up to the table for her diploma, this beautiful medal. As our gold winner, Anna Gold is our gold winner of the Merkaz Essay Contest. And now I'd like to introduce you to Stephanie Ballas. Stephanie, the floor, should I say the driveway, is yours. Speak nice and loudly.
Throughout my 4 years at Merkaz, I have learned a lot about Judaism as well as myself. The one class that stands out beyond any other is Better Together. Better Together is an intergenerational course at Merkaz where we as students work with the seniors at the Jewish home to learn about each other and just bridge the generational gap. Better Together allowed opportunities for different generations to come together to share experiences, knowledge, and skills that are mutually beneficial and create positive relationships. I chose Better Together at first thinking it could be a nice class to be able to interact with more people in the community, but I did not exactly know what that really entailed. However, through the course, I was able to see it as much more than just a way to interact with members of the community. The conversation started slow, but then progressed to extremely rapid paces to the point of realizing although there are so many disconnects between us, there are many more commonalities, and these commonalities are all parallel from one life to another. Each person I interacted with me and treated me as an equal. We were able to connect. We were able to come to the conclusion that although we may be very different, we all have similarities that we can focus on to connect. After taking the class my junior year, I knew that I wanted to take it again. However, Merkaz has a policy where you cannot take a class multiple times. I still chose to ask, and it turned out for the best. I was able to take the class a second year after some heavy pleading to Marjorie and Shelley. I wanted to take the course again not only because of the invaluable amount of real-world knowledge and life lessons learned, but also for the wonderful memories and experiences. This class allowed me to branch out and talk to new people every time we went to the Jewish home. And with each experience, I was able to learn more about myself, but more importantly, about how others have lived their own lives. I was able to learn plenty of lessons and gain tons of advice from the seniors at the Jewish home. The main lesson I learned through this course was to listen to those who seemingly don't have much to talk about, and do not often talk to many people, because those are the ones with the most to say. I also learned how to connect with someone in a new environment that you are not completely comfortable with, and with people that you do not know anything about. Better Together has helped to shape my future due to the amount of knowledge I have obtained from so many people that have all lived such different lives. With my experiences from Better Together, it has been easier to connect with people in my community, with a learned confidence from speaking with so many different types of people during our Jewish Senior Services visits. Without this program and these visits, I would not be the same person. I would be less comfortable in nuanced situations where I am with unknown people that may not be like me. Overall, Better Together not only let me connect with people that are not my age, but also helped me recognize that no matter the gap between two people, if you are willing to listen, the gap can be bridged.
I do want to say that all of these speeches are in your virtual graduation booklet toward the back of the booklet, so all the speeches are there.
Our Father in heaven, rock and redeemer of Israel, bless the state of Israel, the first manifestation of the approach of our redemption. Shield it with your loving kindness, envelop it in your peace, and bestow your light and truth upon its leaders, ministers, and advisors, and grace them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Grant them deliverance and adorn them in a mantle of victory. Ordain peace in the land and grant its inhabitants eternal happiness.
Manifest yourself in the splendor of your boldness before the eyes of all inhabitants of your world. And may everyone endowed with a soul affirm that the Lord, God of Israel, is King and his dominion is absolute. Amen forevermore.
Can y'all hear me? What? Is this good? Huh? Okay, sounds good. Although it feels as if the Jews of America are often ostracized and isolated, in a recent study by Brandeis University, it shows that our population, despite popular belief, is growing at a steady rate of 10% over the last 2 years. But there's a caveat, and that is that the Jewish population is getting exponentially older, with young adults barely making up 10% of the Jewish population. Now, there's been an ideological shift in teenagers for religion, and while one could argue this has been going on for years, I've certainly felt the harm of less religious sentiment. Following my bar mitzvah phase, I likely lost over half my friends at Hebrew school, and as the president of my youth group, this is the first time in my 4 years that we have seen substantial growth in membership. A close relationship with Judaism is simply not as valued by kids my age as it was even 5 years ago. And that's where Merkaz comes in. For the ones who stick around, Merkaz acts as an incubator for the future leaders of synagogues and Jewish communities. Everyone is here today because we all share fond memories of Seders and Shabbat dinners, as well as a strong connection to the Jewish faith. Merkaz thrives on people like us, and over the years has found ways to strengthen my bond to Judaism in new and unusual ways. I have a friend who's a devout Catholic, and she went, gosh, no, it's so bad. We just read the Bible all day in Catholic school. I'm let's see here. I don't think we understand how fortunate we are that we get to watch Batman and TV shows and talk about Harry Potter instead of reading the Torah all day. I feel like it's better. And honestly, if it wasn't for Merkaz, I would never wonder how superhero movies connect to the Talmud. And not saying that's a thing that we should usually care about as teenagers, but I found it cool. But this small example perfectly encapsulates what the Merkaz experience is about. We have to go to college in a few months, or I think most of us. Some will be staying home, unfortunately. But eventually we're gonna have to make a living in the real world, and therefore a Jewish perspective on cultural and political events is perhaps some of the best preparation in becoming an active Jew in society. And an active Jew doesn't necessarily mean I gotta be a rabbi, but rather I believe an active Jew is defined as someone who is engaging and observing the world through a Jewish lens. That's what, in my opinion, is the best way to interact with religion, and Merkaz has done an incredible job of helping all of us develop a greater understanding of Judaism. Thank you.
The next part of graduation is the presentation of senior awards. And if your name is called, I'd like you to stand, and please stay standing until all of the award winners have been called, and we'll recognize you at that time. Your award or gift will be presented to you when you come up to pick up your diploma. The Rabbi Israel Stein Award is awarded to a senior who is an all-around Merkaz student who made Merkaz and Jewish education a priority in their life. This year's recipient is Sam Weinstein. The Stephen Howard Ravage Award is presented to a senior girl who demonstrates a strong commitment to her Jewish heritage and its traditions. This year's recipient is Stephanie Ballas. The Jack Rubin Award is awarded to a senior who is an enthusiastic learner with a strong commitment to their Judaism and synagogue life. This year's recipient is Jacob Deck. The Moshe Yaron Award is presented to a student who embodies his or her love for Jewish traditions, is an athlete, and excels at Merkaz. This year's recipient is Jenna Lopes. The Elaine and Judah Should Treat Israel Award is presented to a student who is passionate about Israel, its history, culture, language, and challenges. This year's recipient is Justin Krebs. The Congregation Rodef Shalom Holocaust Education Award is awarded to a senior in excellent academic standing who has shown a strong interest in Holocaust education and carrying forward the stories of our prior generations. This year's recipient is Aidan Walters. The Sarah Mass Award is presented to someone who embodies her passion for learning, helping others, and strives to make a difference.
This year's recipient is Maddie Gazelle.
The Federation for Jewish Philanthropy Young Leadership Award is awarded to a senior who avidly demonstrates leadership through exemplary work in education and inspiring others to participate in their Jewish community. This year's recipient is Emily Rubin.
The Bernard Green Community Service Award recognizes a senior who exhibits integrity, leadership, and is strongly committed to giving back to his or her community. This year there are two recipients. They are Florian Hurlbert and Samantha Richer.
The Marjorie Krubner Tikkun Olam Award. This award is given to a senior who has made a difference in the lives of others through Tikkun Olam. This year there are two worthy recipients, Noah Giglietti and Jacob Newman.
The David Goby Scholarship Award is awarded to a student who has been actively involved in Merkaz and activities that have significant impact on their lives and Jewish identity. Someone who has leadership skills and the ability to influence the quality and learning experiences of others at Merkaz. This year we have two recipients, Anna Gold and Sophie Lipsitz. The Merkaz Faculty Award is given to a senior recognized by the faculty for their outstanding contributions to the objectives of Merkaz. This was someone who was nominated by our faculty, and the faculty has chosen Vanessa Weiss.
The Head of School Award. The Head of School Award is given to a student who has embodied his or her Jewish values and has shown remarkable growth over their 4 years at Merkaz. This year I'm pleased to award this honor to Maddie Gazelle. Congratulations to all of our students and all of our award winners. Let's recognize them with a round of applause.
Shalom everybody, good afternoon. I'm Rabbi Kormis, I serve Congregation Bethel, and it's really my pleasure to welcome you to our synagogue, at least to our parking lot. And I'm sure that we are never going to forget this Merkaz 2020 graduation under these very special and unique circumstances. First, I would like to thank Margie and Shelly for leading our great Merkaz, and also the board, and many members of the board are present here. And I would like to share with you a number of students who are here today, were my students during these past 4 years. And I would like to share with you a couple of words that I was charged when I graduated from my high school in Chile. I was born in Santiago in Chile. 8 years ago I came here, but I still remember the words that my rabbi gave or delivered to us when we were graduating from our Jewish high school in Santiago in Chile. And he shared with us a very powerful image, an image that I would like to share with you today. So hopefully you will remember it and you will try to make it part of your life. And my charge to you today is called Connecting the Dots. And you may have heard about this idea, but I would like to stress the idea today because I think it's particularly important given the circumstances that we are living now in our country and also around the world. So this idea says that when we live our lives, we move forward, we walk forward, and we make decisions. Sometimes we make decisions on the go. Sometimes we give a lot of thought to the decisions that we are making. Sometimes those decisions are the right decisions. Sometimes those decisions are not that right, and we regret from making some of those decisions, but you move forward and you continue walking and you have your goal or your goals clear and you know where you want to go. But it's interesting because, and this was what my rabbi told me and what I would like to share with you today. There are certain moments in your life when you look back and you connect the dots. There are certain transformative moments in your life when you stop looking forward and you start looking backwards and you connect the dots and those dots start to make sense to you. And those dots are what we are at that particular time, and those dots are the foundation of who we are called to be in the future. So I have a sense that after 4 years, Merkaz is a very special dot in your life. And probably you are not fully understanding it now, and you probably are not fully understanding why you chose this class or that class or a message that you heard from a teacher or from a rabbi or from an educator that you spent a semester with him or with her. But trust me, you're going to get to a point where you're going to look back and you're going to be able to connect the dots. And you're going to be able to value how important these past 4 years were for you. So that's my charge for you today. My blessing is that may God bless you with the opportunity, the possibility, and the strength to connect the dots, to realize how important these 4 years have been for you. And let me tell you something. You are not graduating today. I'm sorry, Marge. I'm sorry, Marjorie. Because you never graduate from studying Judaism. You never graduate from being part of the Jewish people. This is a journey that never ends. So you may be finishing one dot, one important step in your life, but you are not graduating. And my hope is that you will be continue studying Judaism. My hope is that wherever you go, whatever place you go in the country and later around the world, that you will continue contributing to your community, to your society, and you will be continue being involved with your Jewish community and other Jewish kids. So think about this image of connecting the dots. And it is my charge for you today, and it's my hope for you today, that you're gonna get to a point where you're going to look back and you're really going to treasure and value what we are celebrating today, your Merkaz graduation. I don't think it is coincidence that we are outdoors today, because today we are with the sky as our ceiling and the trees are the walls of our graduation today. And there is no ceiling, because that's what you can reach in your life. There is no limit for your dreams. It's really my hope that as you graduate today from Merkaz, may God bless you with the possibility to make all your dreams come true, and that you will be continue being part of the Jewish people as you graduate from Merkaz. Mazel tov.
The next part of our program is the presentation of diplomas. And while the faculty is behind me and they won't be shaking your hands and hugging you and doing our traditional, as Marjorie calls it, shake, 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 shake. Just, we want you to feel the love of all of us and the respect we have for your commitment the past 4 years. In each of the gift bags that you received, there is a mezuzah and a kosher cloth, a kosher parchment already rolled and put in it. We've already put a piece of double stick tape on it, so that when you leave this community and you go off to your new dorms or your new experiences, you can take this little bit of home with you. And there's also a dessert for you and your family in the bag, some water bottles, and what we have decided, however, is that you're entitled to come up and get your diploma yourself. You'll pick it up from the table. Nobody will hand it to you. And then there's a red X over there. If you'll go stand there with your diploma, Regina will take your photo. So you may take your mask off to receive your diploma. Seniors, Stephanie Ballas. Jacob Dick. Bit of a height.
I know, it's a long There we go.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll miss you.
Yes.
Red X. Nathaniel Epstein.
I love the glasses.
His mom will not.
That is very true.
All right, Nathaniel.
Congratulations. And the red X. Madison Gazelle. There you go. That's a one. So while we're thanking Maddie as she's coming up, you should also know that Maddie was the designer of this year's graduation invitation and program cover. You'll see the program online. And then later this summer, we'll be publishing a hard copy of it. We hope you all contribute a reflection on this unusual time of pandemic and social justice. And just know that Maddie's artwork will grace the cover for an eternity. Noah. Anna Gold. Florian Hurlbert. Yep.
I love the shirt, Florian. You're welcome.
Justin Krebs. Thank you, Justin.
Oh, wait, that's nice.
Okay, I did something. No, that's it. You got it. You're welcome. Thank you.
Lower it just a bit. Thank you.
Alyssa Schwartz.
Lower it a little bit. Thank you. Thank you.
Matthew Schwartz.
There you go. Shelley, is that your sibling? Okay, so why don't you stand right over here, and then we'll do the two of you together. So you're here. Just, okay, together.
Henry Suchman.
Now, one by you. Stand a little bit to the side. Thank you. Thank you.
You go, girl.
Aiden Walters.
No, you don't have to do that. Turn a little bit to the side. Just lower. You could lower it. A little bit more lower it. There you go. Thank you.
Samuel Weinstein.
Just hold it up. A little bit. There you go. Thank you.
How you doing?
Sam, congratulations. This is your gift. Alex Weissman.
Yeah, just, yeah. Turn a little bit to there you go. You got this. Lower it just a bit.
Jackson Weissman.
A little bit to the side. No? And lower it a little bit. And hang right there with her.
Congratulations.
Together and then
Vanessa Weiss.
you're up. A little bit to the side. Congratulations. Thank you.
Florian.
A little bit.
Florian, you're up.
Wait, if I connect it to the thing called speaker, is that thing?
Try it. If not, just sing out as loud as you can.
Hello?
No.
Come on. Alright. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehethianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehetzianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh.
Hi guys, congrats. So at the start of my high school career, I decided to enroll at Merkaz. Each semester we had the option to choose from a variety of programs as well as over 30 classes about the state of Israel, Jewish ethics and values, social action, and much more. Looking back now, I can see how my participation in these programs and classes have shaped who I am today and who I hope to be in the future. While they were all incredible, one of the most profound classes that I had the opportunity to be a part of was called the Friendship Circle. Over the course of the semester, I learned all about this organization and how it aims to provide support, friendship, and inclusion to both individuals with special needs and their families. Each week also included training to become a volunteer in the organization. I was so intrigued and eventually found myself reaching out to the teacher of the Friendship Circle class for more information on becoming a volunteer. After an interview with the director of the Friendship Circle, I was paired with a 13-year-old girl diagnosed with an autism spectrum disorder. When I first met her, I learned that she struggled to hold a conversation, make eye contact, understand social cues, and try new activities. Because of this, it made navigating the social aspect of her life extremely difficult. Making connections with people was not easy for her, however, I was determined to support her and be her friend. Every Sunday, we planned to be together, whether that included playing games in her house, walking around the mall, or even going to the movies. I looked forward to each and every Sunday. One favorite memory that I have with her is going to the Chabad of Westport for a Halloween. It was truly amazing watching her enjoy herself and interact with others. What has made this entire experience even more special was that my fellow Merkaz classmate and close friend Alyssa volunteered with me. I know even after we move on to college that the three of us will continue to make memories like these and be friends for life. After nearly 4 years, I have not only been fortunate enough to create meaningful relationships with her as well as her family, but I've gained an ability to empathize and understand the challenges that people, specifically with special needs, face on a daily basis. I've discovered attributes within me that I never thought existed, challenging me to be more patient and caring, and encouraging me to strive towards always being a better person. My time spent with her has also greatly influenced me to commit to a college where I will be studying physical therapy. I am beyond excited to one day become a part of this helping profession, where I will have the opportunity to make a difference in many people's lives as I have through the Friendship Circle.
To our teachers, rarely does someone get to influence a person's life in a positive way for a lifetime as a teacher can. Fostering optimism and confidence, providing knowledge that leads to success, and being a good role model as you have and as you are, and you will, forever. We'll remember you always. Toda Rabah.
Hi everybody, this is my essay, His Story. My grandfather was a very generous speaker. One of my most vivid memories is when I told his story to my classmates. I remember my freshman year English teacher asking, "Do you believe in fate? If so, why?" My classmates used literary examples to support the argument. I raised my hand and started. My grandfather's family was separated from him at Auschwitz when he was my age. He was put to work in a coal mine and later marched to Buchenwald. As the battlefront approached, an SS officer asked my grandfather's group, "Who here is Jewish?" No one admitted it, so the officer grabbed the youngest boy, held up his gun, hoping to scare him into pointing out his fellow Jewish prisoners. My voice started to crack. This was the most vulnerable I had felt in public. Just when my grandfather thought he was betrayed and about to be shot, an air raid occurred, and everyone had to run back to their barracks. That day, my grandfather was liberated. If the air raid occurred a minute later, I wouldn't be here. So yes, I do believe in fate. Last year, I was elected as my ensemble's percussion captain. I gained 10 pounds of muscle training for baseball and reached a personal record of 90 miles per hour exit velocity. And there was no one I wanted to tell more than my hero, my grandfather. Unfortunately, by the time I could, he was beginning his final battle. His words have always held great power for me. And before my grandfather left for the hospital, I hugged him and he wished him good health, and he simply said, "Don't worry, you have plenty left to accomplish, you just got to do what you got to do." I was devastated not to make the high school baseball team that spring, but saying goodbye to my grandfather for the last time and carrying to his resting place put my personal loss in perspective. In giving myself over to mourning his death, I was really able to reflect on my experience and priorities. I found strength in my grandfather's words and finished my junior year better than ever. I had been tested academically and athletically, but I believe it was fate testing me at the time of my grandfather's passing that challenged me to find the grit and strength to determine my own path. Every week when I attend Minion with my mom and wrap to fill in, as my grandfather did when he lost his eldest sister, I feel like I'm learning more from him. No matter what I struggle or experience, it will never compare to what my grandfather faced. But his story of survival and his words have shown me that there is nothing I can't handle with the right mindset. It is a story that has given me purpose, and I now tell it without a quake in my voice. It is a story that I must continue to share because he no longer can. I hope to continue to share this story that had such a great effect on my life. Since the U.S. House of Representatives voted to pass the Never Again Education Act, I'm hopeful that some required Holocaust education in schools will become a reality. Next year I'll be attending USC to pursue engineering, but I also hope to become a student ambassador at USC's impactful Shoah Foundation. With projects like Dimensions and Testimony, where the center is creating 3D testimonials, I hope I can personally become a part of the next groundbreaking advancement in Holocaust remembrance. Thank you.
Hodel Rama. I would like to extend a warm thank you to all the staff, faculty, parents, my classmates, and our community for making Merkaz an unforgettable experience.